Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bureau. My name is Sid, and today I bring you an update about the strange UFO/UAP shaped cylinder that was discovered by this guy, so-called James, and was that popped up recently on 4chan, and was quite interesting because of its resemblance to the Boogosphere. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll find my video on my channel. Go ahead and watch that and then come back to this one. So this is a update of what has been happening with this object. Now, James, he has started to do some experiments on this thing. But again, I gotta say, if I would be doing experiments on this thing, bro, I would just hit the next level. Okay,
guys, I have an AM.
So this was
station set to
uploaded
this radio.
maybe 8 days ago.
An old crappy radio I found in my garage, just full of dirt and stuff. But this is about as far as I can get from it, without it doing anything crazy. Yeah, I moved it back to the basement to make it more secure in the concrete walls here. And yeah, I'll bring it closer and show you guys kind of what goes on. You can already hear it starting, and it seems to, I've already tested it, so I know what it's going to do, but on the ends there, it seems a little more, more concentrated, you'd say. This radio's heavy.
So it seems to be kind of like reacting
it does. So it's definitely
to this object
with something. Oh, I need to set this radio down a second.
And it seems like it's more kind of like interfering with the static or the electricity of the radio.
I had to bring it.
So there seems to be something that is interfering with this radio. What it is, I don't know. The tips do seem to be magnetic because he mentioned that, he even tested it. So maybe it's doing some sort of interference with the electromagnetic field that the speakers are generating. I mean, so if you look at this radio is pretty damn old, okay? Probably from the way it looks at least, could be from the 2000s. It's possible that it somehow is interfering with the speakers. The speakers have magnets, and the interference with them can act on that and kind of like produce some weird sounds and static sounds. The way this looks to me, the sound that when he puts it near it. Have you guys seen ever how radioactivity looks like? Like really, how it looks like? How does the gamma rays and alpha rays and beta rays, how do they disperse? How are they expelled from the radioactive material? If you haven't seen that, let me pull out a video that kind of like shows you what that looks like, and then you get an idea as of why it is possible that if this thing is actually radioactive, the interference sounds exactly how these gamma rays, these rays, would be kind of like projected from a radioactive material. Let me pull up that video for a moment. All right, so what you are about to see is a radioactive material that is sitting on top of a cloud chamber. Now, a cloud chamber is used basically to visualize gamma rays, beta rays, all these radioactive rays that are being projected by these materials. And it's super interesting because it allows you to see how they are kind of like expelled or projected. Now, the sound that radio makes when it gets close to this cylinder-shaped UAP, let's call it UAP because we actually don't know what it is. It could be a fake, could be real, whatever. The sound that it makes reminds me of how these rays behave. So take a look at this for a moment. You can clearly see how these rays are being expelled, right? Super interesting. Now, this is a radioactive material that I'm not sure what it is. Doesn't say, but yeah, look how these rays are kind of like being projected from this material. And then if you kind of like take this visually and resemble the sound, it might look or hear similar to what radioactive material behaves to. And I'm saying radioactive because this thing, he has mentioned that this thing, every time he gets close to this, it makes him sick. It gives him headaches. It's a strange feeling. He even has developed some sort of a rash, apparently. Although we don't know if it's just a rash from an allergic reaction or if it's actually from the radioactive rays that are being expelled by this object, if that's the case. But yeah, look at this. It's super interesting. Now let's go ahead and go back to listen to the sound of the radio.
And it seems to, I've already tested it, so I know what it's going to do, but on the ends there, it seems a little more concentrated, you'd say. This radio is heavy. But yeah, that's pretty much what it does. So it's definitely interfering with something. Oh, I need to set this radio down. It's so heavy. Dude, yeah. I had to bring it a little bit closer. Oh, that's weird. It's just kind of amplifying on the ground. Maybe it's the concrete, but yeah. That's the radio test, and I'm going to try to find a fluorescent light to do the light test too. But I'll post this, guys, so you can see it.
All right, so you have seen this video, right? So what do I think about this? I don't know. It could be anything, to be honest. It could just be strange interference from the metal, from the magnets. You know, if this guy actually put this thing together, let's say it's fake, and he put this thing together, and to make it more realistic, he actually kind of like, you know, used two magnets and he installed them at each of the tip of the cylinder. That would give you the impression that this thing is magnetic, right? Of course, we don't see it, but because inside, and it could be neodymium magnets that are very strong. There are thousands of possibilities what this thing could be. Yeah, one of the things, it's either fake or it's real and he found it. But again, let me go back to the point that I made in my previous video about this thing being fake is I don't hear much excitement from his voice. The experiments, for example, they are very basic. I mean, I would have done these, if I would have found this thing, I would have made probably 100 experiments right there and then at the moment of, you know, finding this thing. So I don't know what to think about this. Is it strange? Yeah, of course it's strange. Is it real though? I don't know. But let's go back to the next video because there are more. So let's watch them.
Okay, guys. Just doing the update for today. I have not been close to the object since I last updated yesterday, because part of me is thinking it's really dangerous. I think it's way more dangerous than I've been thinking. I've probably not been being cautious enough. But yeah, I'm just updating here by the sawhorses because, first of all, as everybody's been pointing out, this black on the edges was not there, and it wipes right off. So I don't know what it is, but it could be like radioactivity. Then I'm going over here where it fell, and the grass is kind of darkened. It's like a little dead and dark. Mainly there and there and stuff. Just so you can kind of see where it was laying. And honestly, this whole patch of grass seems a little bit off compared to the rest of the lawn. So I work tonight, and I'm going to go lock it up again, secure it, order a Geiger counter, and do all that stuff. And the thing is too, with the Geiger counter, I mean, when I get it, and if I do test it and it does come radioactive, it might not be the best thing for me to post that, because once I do post that, it will be, if it does test positive or whatever, which I'm assuming it will, once I post that online, it's going to be a national security issue. So I'm going to take it one day at a time. I'll just let you guys know what I do next. But I work the next 3 days. I'll update you at least one video every day, hopefully. So you guys take care, and I will as well.
At the very beginning,
thinking it's really dangerous.
Is showing.
I think it's way more dangerous than I've.
This part. So apparently, this thing was kind of like sitting on top of these wooden holders. Let's call it that way. I don't know how you call it. And that the black stuff kind of like just appeared or was generated or created by this object, and it peels right off. So I don't know what to say about this. If that might be real, if that's the case, why hasn't that affected the styrofoam? In his cellar, he has this thing kind of like sitting on top of styrofoam material, and then underneath the styrofoam you have kind of like the metallic cans. Why hasn't that been affected? That's my question. Why wood and why not the styrofoam material? Right?
This black on the edges was not there, and it wipes right off.
So this to me, if you look at this to me kind of like looks like coal. Look, I'm not a debunker, okay? I'm not a debunker, but it seems like this channel is becoming a debunking channel. That's not my point. My point is, if I'm looking at this, if I'm like from a critical eye, like guys, you know I'm pretty open to this. Like I believe in that kind of stuff. All right. When it comes to looking at these things, I take two approaches. One with my open mind, and one with a critical eye and analytic mindset. And how would this thing kind of like generate this? Like what would be the chemical reaction for this to turn black? Could it be the same radioactivity that comes from this object? Well, if that's the case, because radioactive materials can burn you, okay? They can, definitely. But I don't know how they would react to materials like wood or other metals or styrofoam. Like I'm not a scientist, so I'm not a chemist either. So I don't know what type of reaction that would have, if any. It could be that's an effect of radioactivity. And the other interesting part that he's showing is that kind of like, so where it dropped.
Could be like radioactivity. Then I'm going over here where it fell.
So where it fell, it looks like there's some brown, kind of almost like a dying section of the weeds and the grass, where this thing was lying. Now, again, radioactivity can cause burns, and it's possible that it can also kind of like cause, well, it's not possible, I know it's possible, that it causes the area where radioactive material was lying to degrade and die everything around it. So, but I mean, if that's the case, obviously depending on how strong that material is in terms of radioactivity, it would, the whole place, like there will be kind of like an area that you will see very clearly where this thing was lying, because it would be dead already. It would be brown. Okay. And I'm not seeing this. I'm seeing some sections, right? For example, here. I also see that the grass is wet. So it could just be that maybe it was raining too much and it got burned by the sun, and the grass died. It happens. If you give too much water to a plant, it'll die, and then it will look like this. I don't know. I'm just pointing this out. But in any case, I mean, it's a little bit interesting what he is doing. Okay, guys, so the video you're about to see was uploaded before the one you just saw, where he was showing the wooden stands. And I am playing this in this order because I want you to focus on something. I want to show you something. And I'm going to pause the video once I reach that point. But for now, let's go ahead and watch it.
Okay, guys, this is me. I'm back at the object. As you can see, it's in a different place. It's in this box here. Yeah, I'm actually not storing it at my residence right now. I know somebody who let me use their garage area thing. So yeah, the plan is kind of to move it around maybe once every week or something. Keep it somewhere else. Yeah, here it is. I'm not feeling anything quite yet. Any mental feelings that I was before. I'm going to move it onto some sawhorses I have sitting outside and do some experiments. I think I'm gonna start with water. Just pour some water on it, see what happens. Yeah, let me get this thing out of here. Okay guys, well it's pretty reflective, so I guess I'll stand kind of out of the way. But here it is again.
Okay. I want you to look at these wooden stands for a moment. Do you notice something? Do you notice something's missing? No? Let me point this out for you. In the previous video where he was showing these wooden stands, there was some black stuff on it, right? Right where this thing was sitting on, apparently. There is nothing black on these stands.
It feels pretty cold today, by the way. Like cold to the touch. Again, I'm not touching it with my...
He's even saying it's cold to the touch. So I don't know if it could imply that sometimes it's warm or hot to the touch, and other times it's cold to the touch, depending on the environment or how it reacts to certain materials or to the touch. However, notice there is nothing black on these wooden things. So in the previous video, that black stuff almost looked like coal powder or black paint powder, something like that. That it will basically just, wipe right off. But I am not seeing it. I'm not seeing it here. I'm just pointing it out. If this thing would actually react to the material in one way or another and would, cause it to stain the wood in like black or burn it in some sort, then these markings would already be visible. And they're not. They're not. You could argue maybe that, okay, he just put it on there. How long would it take? Well, we don't know. Maybe half an hour, maybe a minute, a second, 3 seconds. Well, this thing was already sitting here when he started to record it. So, 1 minute and 26 seconds of 6 minutes 46 seconds. So who knows how long he has been, this thing was sitting here. So I'm just saying, guys, I'm just putting it out there, right? This is what I notice. This is what I see. It's inconsistent to me, okay? It's inconsistent. Why would these markings appear after this thing was on the wooden stands and not during the event, right? I'm just saying, guys.
My hands, touching with gloves this time. Hasn't burnt me yet. Hasn't caused any feelings so far. Yeah, I'll go get some water. Gonna pour that on it. Here's this bottle of spray. This is distilled water, by the way. I didn't want to put... I want to do this professionally or whatever, as professional as I can. As you can see, my setup here is very professional, something you would have in a lab. That's sarcasm, by the way. It's just 2 sawhorses. Yeah, so I have been hearing that this thing might run off of water and that it's maybe dying now. So if I'm gonna go really slow with this water thing. I don't want it to just speed out of here and leave a hole in a building or something, but I guess let's try it. Okay, nothing there. It's very... The water does just fall right off of it, though.
Yeah, I guess you would expect that because it's a smooth surface, right?
I'm trying to listen to it as well, to hear if it's humming or anything, again.
So let me stop this right here for a moment, and I want you to take a close look at this object. What else do you notice? Well, let me tell you. If you take a close look, you will see that this cylinder object, has scratching marks. And these scratching marks are consistent with the ones that would appear on any material while you're polishing it. And what's even more consistent is the fact that they are circular, or kind of like go around the object, the cylinder, right? Well, this would be even more consistent if this thing would be rotating while you're polishing it. So, if it would be real, you could argue, okay, so maybe these markings, let's call them polishing markings, would appear while this thing is actually flying and rotating at the same time, and while it's going through the impurity of the air, so where it has, dust particles, metal particles, and all that kind of stuff, and that one, well, with time it would deteriorate and show these markings. But they're very consistent enough that this, it would make me think that this thing is polished while it was turning, like rotating. Again, I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, something interesting here. There's a ladybug crawling on this. It doesn't seem to mind, neither the ladybug or the tube. Okay guys, yeah, now I am starting to feel stuff though. Like that same pukey feeling. Again, trying not to get anything in the video. Yeah, I'm feeling very pukey. I didn't order it yet, but I have it in my shopping cart on Amazon, the Geiger counter. Okay guys, I'm gonna walk away from this for a little bit here. Get behind this building. That's that same feeling again. I don't know what to do. If I can't even test this thing without, like, feeling this way, I gotta get even farther away. I can still feel it. I don't know if that had something to do with the water. It's like not even such a weird feeling. I can't describe this. It's like, it's in my head more than it is in my body, but it goes right to my body. That's what I can say about it. Okay, I'm going to go back home I'm just gonna leave the thing there sitting for a while. I'm gonna go back home and drink some water. And I'll come back to it hopefully within a few hours. I don't want to leave it sitting out there, but it's pretty secure. And yeah, now that feeling's kind of going away as I get farther away from it. It's definitely something in my mind. That's what it's like I can't even think right now. Okay guys, I'll add to the video after this, if I don't puke.
Alright, so that's the video, and I wanted to play it in this order so you guys could see the differences, or basically the inconsistency, right? So it's just weird that these markings would appear after this thing was sitting here, and not during the event of sitting here. The way he's showing these updates and titling these videos, I guess it's not a lot of effort going in. Today's update. Okay, what's today's update? I guess you have to watch it, right? You have to watch it. He's gonna order a Geiger counter. I mean, that's something that I would have done from day one. Okay, if I would have been close to this thing and I felt like every time I get close to this, I get headaches and kind of like sick and nauseous and all this stuff, I would have ordered a Geiger counter. Now he's mentioning that if it tests positive that this thing is actually radioactive, that he will consider not uploading it because of national security. So I don't know what the regulations are in the US. I'm not from there, but I do know you can have a very small amount of radioactive material for science purposes and experiment purposes. I don't know if you need a license for that or not, but you can have. Now, if this thing is radioactive, I mean, wouldn't see an issue kind of like uploading and showing that it's radioactive. Now, if this thing is radioactive and it goes above a certain threshold level that is dangerous for the human body, then I guess it will be considered national security. And then at that point, I will consider, well, is this thing actually dangerous and should I upload it or not? But if that's the point and it comes down to that, my personal action at this point would be, I will give this to the science community to investigate, where they have better materials, better equipment, a whole lot more knowledge about what to test, how to test them, and what these number means at the end of every test, to kind of like figure out what this is, right? So far, I haven't seen anything like that happening. So again, it's strange. Do you want to keep it for yourself? I mean, yeah, cool. You're the one who discovered. Perfect. Credits to you, if it's real. But then again, that goes kind of like towards to the fake part is like even these titles. All right, the titles of the videos. I don't know if you can see this. You should. Yeah, you can see this. Even the title of these videos. Today's update on Rush. Today's boring update. Today's update, October 2. Might have to hide this thing indefinitely. Update. I mean, if you wanted to kind of like grab attention, that might be a good way of doing it. He's not titling it very well. I mean, he's not even making an effort to title these videos. So he's just kind of like putting the least amount of effort in titling these videos. And you would do that if you actually kind of like want to intrigue people and go and click on the video and watch the video all the way through, so you get the notice of what this is. Anyways, yeah, let's take a look at this one. Titled, might have to hide this thing indefinitely. Well, let's see.
Okay guys, just doing today's update. I have the video up still of the test results there. I don't care if nobody believes me. I'm not trying to do this so people believe me. Do you understand that if it is a national security threat, they're going to legally have to come after me? That's why I can't post the actual test, retards. Like, God, how stupid can you be? Oh, you didn't post the actual thing, nobody's gonna believe you. I don't care at this point. I don't care if anyone believes me, I know what it is. So, I'm deleting the old video very soon, if anybody wants like credible evidence, I have the pictures of the test, or I could retest it. I don't care, and I'll email it or something. But I'm not just gonna post that on YouTube. That's the stupidest thing ever, you guys. The amount of stupidity in my comment section is it's unbelievable. It would be like posting me making a bomb online, saying, "Oh yeah, this is just me making a bomb, so you can believe that I made a bomb, and I'm not gonna do anything illegal with it." Anyways, yeah, that's the update for today. If you want to know what it was reading, I can just say numbers now. You don't need to believe me, but I'll say them. We're looking at around 330-ish on like a couple feet around it. And then right up next to it, gets up to around 19 CPMs. So do with that info what you will. I'm looking it up and it's pretty dangerous at that level. And it's a government security threat. So yeah, that's why I'm not posting it.
All right, so according to Google AI, a reading of 300 plus counts per minute, or CPM, indicates a level of radioactivity significantly above normal background levels, and could be a criterion for further investigation or action, especially if the measurement is taken on 1 inch from a point source. It is important to note that the exact meaning of a specific CPM reading depends on the local background radiation, the type of instrument used, and what is being measured. There's CPM versus DPM. CPM is measured of the number of detection events registered by a radiation instruments per minute, not the total radiation emitted by a source. And then you have DPM, which is disintegration per minute, is a measure of the actual number of nuclear decay events happening at the radiation source. So, okay, so 300 CPM seems to be above normal average. But okay, so we have an understanding what that is. I want to check, I want to know what is the legal amount of radioactive material that a person can have for science purposes and for experiments and so on. So let's ask Google, see if he knows or it knows. What is the legal amount of radioactive material a person can possess in the US for experimental and scientific purposes? I hope I spelled this right. Probably not. That's okay. Purposes. Let's see, if at all. Again, I don't know what the laws are in the US. The legal amount of radioactive material a person can possess for scientific and experimental purposes is not a single value. It is determined by the specific type of radioactive material, the radionuclide, and its activity level, and is regulated by the government agencies such as the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC, or individual agreement states. Exempt quantities, so it seems like strontium 90, I don't know what those numbers are, cobalt, carbon, tritium, licensed quantities. Okay, so it seems like you can have some degree of amount of radioactive material in your possession for experiments and science and all this stuff. You do need to, it seems like you do need to have a license for it, or at least an agreement, and it's being monitored and handled by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission or individual agreement states. Again, he's mentioning that he is not posting the video because he's afraid that national security will come after him. But dude, you just mentioned the numbers. So saying the numbers is basically the same as uploading the video and saying, hey, or showing that this thing is radioactive. I wouldn't be afraid, to be honest, to kind of like show this thing is radioactive. Because if it is, I would immediately call the agencies, the corresponding agencies for this and say, hey, I found this thing. I just tested it. It tested positive. This is the amount of CPMs or DPMs or whatever. Hey, please come pick this up and handle it your way. But, I want to be involved in terms of what this thing is, right? That's just me. That's something I would do. If you're trying to prove a point and people don't believe you, at some point, it's just, okay, you know what, screw it. I don't care what people think. I know what it is. I know that this thing is real. I know how it acts. I know how it behaves, what I feel when I'm around this. I know what this thing does and is capable of. I don't care if you don't believe me. Again, that could just be also, inverse or reverse psychology. What do I believe? I don't know, to be honest. I am between real and I'm between fake. I want this to be real. I really, really do want this thing to be real because I'm very open-minded, right? We have been looking for proof of UAPs and extraterrestrials and alien lives all over the freaking universe for as long as I think we can think as humans. And I really do want this thing to be real. But then again, I have to look at these things with a critical eye and an analytic, critical mindset and say, stay grounded because, it could be a fake. So, and then the last video that was uploaded 23 hours ago, it's just titled Update. Let's see what this is about.
Okay guys, another update here. Sorry about the rant on my last video. I just can't get over how stupid some of you guys are. I'm happy that not all of you are that retarded, but only some of you, so that's okay. If you need any help, let me know, guys. If it's hard to live in this world when you're autistic or whatever, just get some help. It's okay. But anyway, the next step I'm going to maybe get some type of lead blanket or something. And I'm going to be hiding this thing, not on my property, somewhere else. I'm unlikely to do many other tests with it until I get some other professional equipment or something. Because I don't really know if it's safe to be near it anymore. So, yeah, I just wanted to update you on that. And, yeah. Don't think there's anything else I need to say. No, I think that's it. So, you stay safe.
All right, so not much of an update at all, actually. But yeah, so that's the video. That's the update, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think about this. In my opinion, I'm still kind of like in between it's real and it's fake. I don't know what to believe. And it's very hard to kind of like believe these things nowadays because everybody's trying to fake shit, which is not cool. Don't do that. Take the UFO community serious, please, because there's a lot of smart people in that community that have provided enough evidence that these things are real, they exist. And I know these things are real, I know these things exist. So let's kind of like resume the important points that we've seen in this video on his updates. So he used a radio as an experiment to see what would happen if you would get close to it. And we have heard that it kind of like generates some sort of an electrostatic, electromagnetic interference, and the radio starts kind of like emitting these weird sounds. I've shown you guys what radioactive material looks like in a cloud chamber, so you could have a reference of if this thing is actually radioactive, how it would reflect in a sonic or auditive way, if that's even possible. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm a computer science. That's what I am now, but I'm not a scientist. Computer science engineer. So this thing kind of like generated or had an effect on a wood material where some black stuff appeared. And then my question was, why didn't this thing do the same on styrofoam material? Styrofoam is pretty reactive, so it's also pretty soft material, let's put it this way. If you use glue or super bond or something like that, it will disintegrate, basically kind of like melt. The grass seems to be kind of like having an effect after this thing fell on it. It looked like it was kind of like dying. at least where this thing was lying. But again, it could just be anything. It could just be old weed. It could just be, you know, deteriorating grass because it rained a lot and the sun was hitting it and it was burned and whatever. And then the Geiger counter. The most important test of all, the Geiger test. He mentioned he did a test, but he was afraid to upload it because of national security. First of all, you gotta be smart. If you have a radioactive material that goes above the normal threshold, bro, you need to call that shit in, okay? Because it's not only you that get affected by it, because if you're already being affected by this shit and people are around you, well, guess what? They're probably being affected about that as well. I don't know if that's actually contagious or not. If this thing is radioactive, I think it would be a no-brainer to call that in, okay? You wouldn't upload the video because of being afraid that national security will come after you. Well, you mentioned the numbers, that this thing goes above 300 CPM or count per minute. I mean, it's the same as uploading the video because you mentioned the numbers. So if someone is after you, they already noticed and they're coming. If the government really, really, really wanted to get you, they already know where you live. They already know where you're at. They already traced your IP address when you uploaded these videos. They're already monitoring you. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. If you do enjoy these type of videos, consider subscribing. It's a very small channel. We're growing slowly but surely, and I would appreciate if you become part of the community, become part of the bureau. And hey, if you have some sort of videos or ideas or something you want me to review or watch or react to, feel free to send it to me. Contact me via email. It's in my channel, and I'll happily take a look at it and consider. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you do, consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.